At last, the weight of a rushed comeback is lifted off Caitlin Clark. The Indiana star is the needle mover of the WNBA. It has its advantages, but it brings pressure that no athlete in the league can relate to. The right groin injury, along with multiple soft tissue injuries, made things too complicated for her to return within weeks. Now she can give 100% to her recovery in the off-season and continue ramping up. Will that process involve a stop on the way to Unrivaled? Apparently, it's yet to be decided. Last year, the Big Three offered Clark as high as $15 million to play in their 3-versus-3 league, but Clark wasn't impressed. "We offered Caitlin Clark $15 million. It started at $5 million. But the official final offer was $15 million for 10 weeks. Tattoo, the voice of Big Three, said in a recent interview. Even Unrivaled tried to get Clark with a contract exceeding $1 million, with other incentives for the 3-month league. FOS described it as a Lionel Messi-like offer. Clark declined it, then took a break after a whirlwind year of college ball and WNBA. The league is taking a measured approach to sign her for 2026. Unrivaled president Alex Pizzell, the husband of Link C and league co-founder Nafisa Collier, said via Sports Business Journal, "How we approach it is we don't really apply pressure. Everyone who's not currently in the league and who's a top player, not just her, knows we're a phone call away. It doesn't mean there's always going to be a spot because we have to fill spots. But she's one of the rare players she was first team All-W last year. She's a great player. So we haven't really approached those conversations. We aren't in conversations." Clark was spotted doing 5-versus-0 reps before she was completely ruled. The point guard is on her way to a recovery, but the timeline is still unknown. The 2026 Unrivaled will likely start in January, giving Clark enough time. Playing in it will also give her a taste of competitive basketball while keeping it light in the 3v3 league. The league also sees itself as a stepping stone to the WNBA, a place for athletes to have winter ball at home. According to the next Chelsea Latte, the idea is for Unrivaled to be an off-season development league to help players with their specific training goals as well as becoming more well-rounded players. It looks like a good opportunity, but Pizzell is giving Clark her space. He further said, "Do I think she should play this off-season? Yeah, I do think she should play somewhere. Obviously, we'd love to have her, but that's a personal decision that her team, her family will go through." In May, Clark wasn't really focused on the off-season when she was asked about Unrivaled. "I thought they had a tremendous first season," she said of the league. "It was fun to watch, and, obviously, a lot of my teammates now were down there playing and had great experiences. Things have changed since, and she might require some competitive basketball before kicking off 2026. The one thing Clark is not doing right now is getting ahead of herself. Since she has ample time for recovery, making sure full fitness will be the goal number one. Participation in off-season ball will depend on how that goes, but considering her positive take on the new league, it can't be completely ruled out. The 3-on-3 league is expanding its pool from 36 to 42 players in 2026, and Bezel has earlier mentioned that 90% spots are already filled. So it begs the question, how much time does Clark have to make this decision? I mean, we always have flexibility. That's the truth of it. We own all the teams. We own the league. But I don't think we're going to ruin someone else's experience, who's already signed, by adding a player late. So I think we're always conscious of both sides, but it's all based on the opportunity and when it comes about." Basil said. So Clark can't go in the day before the tournament starts and take a player's spot, but she has extra rope considering her stature. In addition to that, Clark and Collier share the same agent, Aaron Kane of Excel Sports Management, making the communication between them without any lag. There are many layers to this decision, and we will probably return to this conversation in a couple of months. Clark will continue her rehab without the pressure. Why timing and optics matter more than money for Caitlin Clark's edition. The Unrivaled is in a critical moment with the WNBA players pushing for higher salaries and better working conditions in their main league. It has its own chaos, and the future of Unrivaled is certainly in question. As with past CBAs, the final deal will have a ripple effect on labor standards set throughout the burgeoning women's sports world. It will also directly influence overseas and domestic women's basketball leagues that employ WNBA players. Adding to that uncertainty, Collier and Stewart had to defend against conflict of interest allegations. Breanna Stewart is WNBPA president. Nafisa Collier is VP. They co-founded Unrivaled, a league that benefits if there's a WNBA lockout. And they're the ones leading CBA negotiations? How do you negotiate in good faith? Make it make sense, wrote a fan. That is not the correct information, as Stewart and Collier are the VPs, and Nneka Agwamike is the president. Collier shut it down by writing, while everyone else was enjoying fireworks, you were thinking about how me and Stewie of all people are conspiring to force a lockout that would result in less money year-round for WNBA players. Even after that, there are murmurs among the fandom that it's a conflict not only for Collier and Stewart, but also for every player that plays in the league, as they are also getting a share. As Unrivaled is in no way related to the WNBA and is a completely independent entity, it has a complicated situation. Add in Caitlin Clark to this, and it makes things worse for the league and Clark, as her stature will bring in more conspiracies. For Clark to join, she will likely need some guarantee that playing in Unrivaled will not affect her standing in the WNBA in the future. The money does not affect Clark, like we saw last year, but this should be a point of contention if she decides to join the league.